right, next up on the show is Greg Garcia, the president and owner of GTX Insurance Partners. Welcome, Greg, to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about why you got into the insurance industry and how long you've been in it.
So I've been in it 29 years. I started out as a farmer's agent, and actually they came after me. I was looking into, I was a healthcare rep before, and it was kind of flatlining. So I saw the writing on the wall. I was looking for something else, and I came into my apartment and to get renter's insurance, and there was an agent. And eventually the agent, I went to their office, and the agent said, "Hey, my district manager wants to meet me." And I'm like, "What did I do?" That's the first thing that pops into my mind.
That's from growing up and always being in the office?
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
Greg, we want to see you in the office.
Pretty much. So went in, talked to him, and said, "Hey, look, this is not, thank you, but right now is not the right time." But then in about 6 months, things started to go downhill, and I'm like, "Okay, let's go ahead and jump." So did that for 10 years, and then went what we call independent, where I sold my agency, went independent, where I represent multiple carriers. We have over 50 between residential and commercial, and just ever since then, just haven't looked back.
Now, sometimes you can keep your book of business with a Farmers or a State Farm or whatever, and also do independent. But a lot of the big companies don't want you to do that, right? You have to sell your book of business.
Yeah, that has changed. That's changed over the years. Pretty much your captive agencies, you have to sell it back to them, and then everything's the fee is all up front in the contract, and then you have usually a non-compete, whether it's 1 year or back then it was a 1 year non-compete, so it wasn't that bad. So we had to just wait 1 year, and then we could go after our old clients.
Gotcha. But you could still start your independent agency. You just couldn't go after your old clients.
No,
Oh,
they didn't know. They did not like that. They allowed us to go out if they didn't write a piece of business, but they were very, very strict about that. And if you were doing it too much, then they would.
What about this whole right to work thing in Texas?
Yeah, with that it was, and that was an old contract.
Gotcha.
They're all actually going independent now. A lot of these larger companies, the Allstates of the world, you're not seeing the direct, the captive agent, as you will. But.
Okay. GTX, does the G stand for Greg, or is this some kind of tribute to race cars? GTX.
So it's funny. We had 3 partners before, and then we got rid of one partner.
Starting to see a theme here.
We spun off. So my other partner's Tom. So the joke is Greg, Tom, and the X. But, but it was actually my wife. We were looking at Great Texas Insurance, kind of, but looking at it sounded more like a bank. And then she said, "What about GTX?" And then I go, "It kind of sounds like a race car a little bit." So that's kind of the behind the scenes where it came from. But Greg, Tom, and the X is my official.
And you've been in the insurance industry for 29 years now, which makes you an official expert. And we've all heard about the craziness going on with pulling out of certain areas of the country and policies just skyrocketing. So taking a little bit of a different take on it, because we all know, your State Farm, your captive agents, like you said, they work for those big insurance firms, but you're independent. So who's your fiduciary responsibility to?
Yeah, great question. So our fiduciary responsibilities to our client, just bottom line, we have over 50 companies. We can customize the product for them, but we look out for their best interests. We are loyal to them. And we use these companies to find best rate and coverage combination for the client. Sometimes it's a claim that comes up, and the claim is, we review it with the client. Sometimes we have to tell the client, no, it's not, and we put it in layman's terms. It's not covered because of ABCD. There are some times where we find where they made a mistake, the claims adjusters, they're human, where we said, hey, look, this should be covered. And we've reversed. We had one 4 months ago, and this guy was retired. There were newer adjusters that had been brought on to a carrier, And this carrier had 4 different versions of homeowner policies since '09, '08. So this one version, the new adjuster just didn't know. So she calls us. She actually reached out to us to go, hey, we're going to deny the claim before we were able to review. And I said, why? She told us. I go, no, look, here's the coverage right here. I pull up the declaration page. I go, you need to review this. Within minutes, she did, reversed it. It was a $15,000 claim, and this guy was retired. So it's a big deal. Sometimes with hailstorms, you get these adjusters that come in. They're called CAT adjusters for catastrophe. They come in and they work multiple states. Sometimes they work too fast. So we're helping out with the client, making sure that everything's covered, and or if it's not covered, again, explain to them. They get a letter from the company, but you read it and you're like, huh? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's so complicated.
So explain it in layman's terms of why, to help them out, or to ask them when they say, hey, should I key in a claim? There's some insurance companies that will immediately just do it. And managing those claims, it's you don't want to key in every single claim. If it's going to net out after your deductible $100 claim, we would consult with the client and go, look, you can do this, but if it was, I would double check, because you want to manage that. If you have too many claims, no one's going to want to write you. That's the insurance game, if you will.
Well, and I think that's the thing. Over the last decade, and I'm just making up numbers, so nobody take this to heart, right? The large insurance firms have done such a great job of advertising. Their marketing and advertising budgets have to be astronomical, but they've done a great job of just driving the public to their websites to be handled by their captive agents. Yep. And so I feel like everybody sees insurance as, oh, you just go and buy it and hope for the best. It's basically like a used car, right? You go and you talk to a car salesman, you buy the car, you never talk to him again. You just keep using the car. But in other industries, like if you're going to buy a house, 80% of the population is going to be like, oh, I better call a realtor because I don't know what the ins and outs of that
but that's
are.
changing also.
That's changing also.
That's
Right.
becoming more like the
switching.
insurance. Yeah.
But the focus on the fiduciary just hasn't been there in insurance. It's been very strategically targeted.
Well, Heather,
to
you're
that.
identifying something that you find in entrepreneurs that you don't find in the general population.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, entrepreneurs are not going to take the first no, the second or the third or fourth no. They're going to go look at it, research, go back, and all that stuff. So to have somebody like Greg representing you when you have insurance, when you are a layperson who works at USAA or works wherever, just busy, and it's like, okay, well, they told me no. And then they move on, or in this case with this gentleman, he's retired, and then they just say, well, I guess I got turned down and that's it, it's done. No, that's not the end of the story, my friends. A no is usually a beginning of the story, especially for entrepreneurs. So that's what we do. That's why I think 90% of people would like to be entrepreneurs, but only 10% are, because of this complicated weave of things we do on a daily basis. And I don't care if you've been in business for 14 years, 29 years. I've been in business for more than 3 decades. Some stories are going to be repeated and others are going to be brand new.
Yeah.
So I know not to ask anymore. Y2K, 2008, tech bubble burst. I don't ask what else can go wrong, right? Pandemic, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because I'm like, what else can go wrong? Because you'll get it served up. So it's great to have that. So what would you say to people if they have the online insurance for their home, for their business, for their cars? How do they go about then taking that step to check in with you? I mean, do you have a free evaluation? Do you look at their coverages? Do you see what they're paying and see if you can get them a better deal?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they can go to our website, give us a call. We've been working on a lot of software upgrades the last couple of years. A lot of technology has come in to the insurance industry where we were really, really behind. We were like the last, we're the ancient dinosaurs when it came to technology. But we have a link where it'll actually, it'll do a one-time pull. It'll automatically pull your declaration page if you have, they have 120 companies. So you can log in, you have to have a user ID and password. It'll do a direct pull and we get the information. The declaration pages will review it. We'll rate it up ourselves, explain with the client, hey, here's what you have. Here's ours. Here's where the coverage deficiencies are, and then present that way. Also, if say someone has multiple claims, we'll go, look, this is how this thing works. These claims will fall off the record either in 3 years or 5. And right now, the best thing to do is sit where you're at. But when this thing hits 3 years old or 5 years old, then you need to make the jump, and we can flag this and then reach back out to you. A lot of people don't know that, where and then just consult with them. Where, hey, stay where you're at right now, and this is why, and here's what you want to be careful on, and then just go forward. And
have you done better in business by being a trusted agent that tells people, hey, listen, don't sign up with me now because your rates are going to end up going up?
Absolutely. Yes. From day one, it's kind of like we've been doing that, just selling through education and being their advocate in essence.
I feel like that's the long game, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's
yes,
playing the short
yes.
game. They want cash flow now. But if you can play the long game, then you get that trusted, repeatable.
I mean, well, Heather, that's what they teach at business school. At UT Business School, they told me, maximize profit for the stockholders. That's the only reason you're in business.
Yeah. I tell you what, having a claim and then going through, calling the 1-800 number, and then you get the letter of either denied or whatever, versus having an advocate to, hey, this is what they're saying. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? It's just a big difference. Big, because they're by themselves. They're dangling in the wind, going, I don't have anyone in my corner to help.
And I think current events have very, very, very much highlighted that you want somebody on your side to be fighting the insurance companies on your behalf, because they're going to try to keep every penny in their pocket.
They're in business to make money too.
Yeah. It's a business,
and they're good at it.
Especially, especially now.
They're good at it.
Especially now with when you see the rates going up, it's like, okay, well, what happens when it flatlines, and then the claims, it settles down? Are we going to see rates go down again? Yeah. Hopefully we will.
And this is, I don't know if this is the first time. I haven't been on every single pre-show Zoom, but you actually made a very good business connection in pre-show Zoom. Tell us a little about that by sharing your value.
Well, just I forgot her name.
Tirza.
Yes.
She'll be on next.
Yes. Sorry, Tirza. We were pre-Zoom, and I was explaining everything, and Tirza had gone through it. She had a bad experience with a claim, and she goes, "That's what I'm looking for. Is I thought I had that. I didn't, and I would love to connect with you." And I'm like, "Absolutely." So
she told me afterwards. She goes, "Oh my God, that guy Greg, that was great."
Yeah. Thank you.
Very trustworthy. That we talk about that in networking, right? People go to network so you can know, like, and trust somebody, right? And that's one of the big elements is trust. I giving a talk to a group of entrepreneurs tomorrow. I said, there's a lot of reasons I've heard over 25 years of why customers don't want to buy something, okay? Most of them fall into 5 categories. No need, no money, no urgency, no trust, and no time.
Yeah.
And no trust is a big one. And that's very hard for them to tell you that they don't trust you. They're going to tell you something else. It's too expensive. It's usually not price. Now, they could be broke and they don't have the money. It's not the price. It's that they don't trust you.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
Speaking of no time, we're coming at the end of ours. Greg, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Absolutely. They can go. We have our website, gtxins.com. Our phone number, 210-647-1112, or our email, service@gtxins.com. That's gtxins.com.
How is going to expire while you're trying to
I would say GTX Insurance. The insurance is abbreviated, and they go gtxinsurance.com. No, it was abbreviated. Anyway, so kind of funny.
All right. Well, as we wrap up the show, a quick reminder to check out our latest podcast or catch our video versions of the show on our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for us for this show. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next one.